Hi guys! I've been having a hankering to do some chainmail, so I've prepared some rings and I thought maybe I'd kind of show you how I did that. And I just noticed there's a whole bunch of crap back there. My room is kind of the dumping ground for the rest of the house, so just try and ignore that because I can't really put it anywhere because there's already crap where I would want it to go. So, jingly keys. Okie dokie, so this is my Pepe ring maker. It's very cool and lots of fun. So I'll show you how that works. You have these different mandrels that are different sizes measured in millimeters. So this is the 10.5 millimeter one. And you put it into chuck here. And you want the hole to be not in there. You want to have access to that hole. Now, in this case, my husband drilled this hole to be bigger to accommodate this heavy gauge wire. The holes that they come with are like maybe 2 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter, so it's, not enough. Okay, so to make the rings, you put the end of the wire in that hole and make sure that it's really caught on well. And then you just do this and it's really fun and satisfying, and you just want to make sure that your coil is as close to the one before, or I guess you should say your loop or ring or something. Anyway, have it as close as possible, and I'm putting a little bit pressure on it going this way. Oh boy, what are you guys doing? All right. And of course, when you get bends in things, then you're going to get funny shaped rings, which is not ideal. Oh, that's not great. I'm making this look a lot harder than it actually is. It's just, oh my god. I'm kind of clumsy is what that comes down to. All right, so now bring out the granddaddy cutters and cut that off. All right. Put you away. Okay, so we can undo this. And now we have to cut this here so that we actually have access to our loops and stuff. So this is where I end up making a bit of a mess. Yep, you don't have enough hands, use a boob. Okay, there we go. So I've cut that out. Now we can just pull it off. So there we are. We have our coil of rings. Now, two different ways you can go at this. You can use a jeweler saw, which is great. These are really fine and they break super easy. Also make a nice sound. So you have to use this stuff, which obviously is quite old and kind of, Jesus Christ, Lars. Well, it didn't look this bad before. Holy Hannah, that's gross. All right, it was just nice and yellow before my husband got his hands on it. All right, so you would kind of push that up and then just kind of go across like that. But I'm cleaning that before I use it again. Okay. And then you would just kind of start in a place and go really slow for your first one until you've got like a nice groove. So you got your groove there, and just kind of keep following that. It's catching, so it really does want that stuff. Okay, before I break this, I'm gonna clean up this. Just give me a minute. Okay, that's better. So what you do, you take this, it's already got some guck on it because I used it to cut this off, but pretend that's not there, and you just kind of go like that. And this is, it's kind of like congealed oil kind of thing. Looks like wax, and it's just to help this not catch. Maybe it actually is wax, I don't know. It's magic yellow goo. And you just keep ka-chunking along like that, just nice and slow and easy. You don't want to catch on things, just kind of feel, like you do with sewing or whatever, feel the tension and then respect the tension. So obviously this is a garbage one, but you can see how it goes, where you're just kind of individually cutting off the rings. It can be very meditative. It can also be like super frustrating if you're not quite in the swing of it yet and you're just breaking blades all over the place. Good thing is the blades are sold by the gross, so unless you're gonna break 144 of them, you're good. Okay, so you just keep doing that. And then you're getting your rings. And they have a little bit, yeah, you can feel the burr on that. It's pokey. You wouldn't want to have that in your necklace because it would really hurt. So we're gonna have to deal with that. Okay, other way is with this jump ring maker, there's this part. So this is kind of like, I'll take this all the way off. And then you can see, can I take it all the way off? A little bit concerned I won't be able to get it back together again. You can do it. Hey. Okay. So, oh, this needs to be cleaned too. Okay, so this is kind of like a little trough, and here are kind of like bookends to stop it from moving past these points. And there's ditches in there, okay? And then here is, you can kind of see the shape of it there, and it's got a line all the way through. So this kind of holds that in place. You want to have it nice and flat, and then put these guys back on. I think this one's upside down. There we are. Flat bit down. Okay, now you don't want to do super tight because you don't want to end up squishing your rings and have them come out like donuts. Or that's not the right word. Ovals. Okay, so you can see there, it's just kind of nicely resting. It's not going to move. So that's kind of how you want that to be. Nice and straight. Okay, then this weird guy goes with your jeweler's saw, or I like to call it the buzzy. And you put it in here, and then you put this guy into it. Mine's a Fordham. It's kind of the same idea as a Dremel. It just goes like super speedy pants. So you pull it out to here, you put this guy in, and then you move it back to here. You can see the line where the blade swings around. All right. And then once you've tightened these guys so that the Fordham is just sitting there, it's not going to move, then you turn it on and you go and you've cut your rings. I find it to be a terrifying experience, so I ask my husband to do it for me, and he very happily obliges because he's a good guy. All right, so that's how you do that. And then this was all gross because you also have to make sure that you're, doing this and stuff, because you don't want to overheat things and then wreck stuff. Okay, so that's how I cut my rings. The oldie-fashioned way is just using cutters and stuff, but you don't get great result there. So I don't like doing that. And you end up kind of, even if they say it's a flush cutter, it's still gonna do that, and I don't like that. Alrighty then, so that's all cleaned up, hands washed. So now you've got all your rings and they've got burrs on them, so how do you fix that? This is where you haul out your handy dandy rock tumbler and you put these guys in there, and I use steel shot, and you put it all in there and then you fill up with water to about 2/3, and I think I ran it through for a couple days, and then what you get are rings that have still maybe a little bit of a bump around, but it's not pokey anyway. Now, some people will put a string through their rings, and actually I've heard of people doing that even before they cut them, so that they have all these rings on a string, which is really handy. I think I've done that before and then put them through the rock tumbler and had some kind of an issue. Either the thread broke, or the thread just made a mess in there, or the links weren't able to move around and bang against each other. There's some reason why I don't do that anymore. I can't remember what it was, but there's a reason. Anyway, so then after it's come out, then you just have to separate your rings from the steel shot. And there are probably colanders out there that would work quite well. Mine don't have holes that are big enough to let the steel shot through, so we're just doing it this way. Okay, I think that's all of it. So this stuff is kind of neat if you're not familiar with it. It has a bunch of different shapes, pokey things, round things, whatnot. So it's really good at getting into crevices and really kind of hammering things flat. I also use this stuff if I need to work harden earrings. So let's say you get earring components and the earring wires are not as hard as you really kind of want them to be. So just kind of put them in the rock tumbler with these and water just for a day or two, and this will kind of beat them up. So instead of sitting there hammering them and getting them out of shape, you just do this and this does the work for you. So that's good. You want to make sure that when you're finished using this, you really lay them out and let them dry for a good couple days. And you don't want to put them away wet, or else you'll end up with a bucket full of rust. That's not good. Alrighty, so there are our rings. Oops. I see you. Come here. Oh my god. Okay, so there's our rings and some shot that I still need to clean up, and we'll come back in a little bit and work on this. See you in a bit. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking and subscribing my channel, and maybe checking out some of my other videos. Thank you. See you soon, Lee.